like a breath of fresh air the moment you step inside. Not because they're flawless, but because they're calm, grounded, and welcoming. That kind of space doesn't come from having more things. It comes from having better habits. For years, I struggled to keep my home in order. I cleaned, I organized, I decluttered, only to find myself back where I started days later. It felt endless. No matter how hard I tried, the house kept slipping into chaos. And truthfully, it drained me. Everything changed when I stopped chasing perfection and started building small, gentle habits. Habits that respected the season of life I'm in. Not rigid routines or trendy hacks, but practical rhythms that brought peace into my day-to-day. In this video, I'm going to share 12 of those habits. They've made my home easier to care for, more peaceful to live in, and surprisingly, more joyful. Number 8 is so simple and smart, I wish I had started it years ago. These habits are not just about keeping a clean house, they're about creating a home that supports your well-being, honors your time and energy, and makes life feel a little lighter. One small step at a time. Let's begin. Habit number 1, the 5-minute peacekeeper. One of the most powerful changes I ever made in my home and in my life was deciding that if a task takes 5 minutes or less, I will do it immediately. No more waiting, no more adding it to a to-do list, no more saying, I'll get to it later. Just do it now. The idea sounds almost too simple to be effective, but that's exactly why it works. Our homes don't become chaotic overnight. They become cluttered through dozens of tiny decisions to delay action. We leave a dish in the sink, a sweater on the back of the chair, a few papers on the counter. On their own, they seem harmless, but over time, they pile up and steal our peace. Once I started using the 5-minute rule, everything changed. I began to realize just how many small tasks could be done quickly. Wiping the bathroom mirror, folding a blanket, loading the dishwasher, putting a pair of shoes back in the closet. Most of these tasks took less time than I thought. The only reason they felt heavy was because I had let them sit and grow into a mountain in my mind. When I complete them right away, they never have a chance to become clutter. They don't drain my energy or demand more attention later. I do them once and they are done. That, my friend, is freedom. This habit also builds momentum. When I start with something small and manageable, I often feel motivated to do a little more. But even if I don't, I still walk away knowing that I handled something instead of avoiding it. That small victory counts. It's important to remember, this is not about being perfect. I still have days when I'm tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. But the 5-minute peacekeeper is always there for me, gently reminding me that even one small act of care can shift the energy in my home. Start by trying it just once today. See something small, handle it, and feel the difference. Your future self will thank you. Habit number 2, everything has a home. For many years, I believed I was just a messy person. I'd lose my glasses constantly, forget where I put the scissors, and shuffle through piles of papers just to find one document. I thought it was a problem with my memory, or maybe just who I was. But the truth is, I didn't have a system. I didn't have homes for the things I used every day. Once I made the decision to give every item a designated place, everything changed. Now, my keys go in the same dish by the door every single day. My reading glasses live in a case on the nightstand. Chargers are kept in a labeled basket in the hallway cabinet. My most used cooking utensils are stored in a simple jar beside the stove. Nothing fancy, just clear, consistent homes. Giving everything a place removes the need to think. It reduces mental clutter. When I walk in the door, I know exactly where to drop my keys. When I finish using the scissors, I don't toss them into a random drawer. I put them back where they belong. That one act saves me from having to hunt them down later. At first, it takes a little thought. You might have to experiment to find the most convenient spots for your everyday items. I recommend choosing places that are close to where you use the item most. Think about accessibility, especially for items you use frequently. And once that decision is made, stick to it. Over time, it becomes second nature. You'll stop losing things. You'll save time, avoid stress, and maybe even discover that you're not forgetful. You just needed a better system. Even more beautifully, this habit tends to spread. Other people in your home will begin to follow it too, without even realizing it. When the home feels organized and clear, others naturally join in. That's the quiet magic of a home that runs on order and calm, not chaos. Habit number 3. Let go with love. This habit was not easy for me. I've always been someone who holds on to things. Old birthday cards, clothes I might wear again, kitchen gadgets I never really used. Each item seemed to carry a memory, or a bit of guilt, or the weight of maybe someday. But as the years went on, I realized my home was getting heavier. Not in square footage or furniture, but in emotional weight. Closets were full, drawers were stuffed, and still I told myself I might need it. Or worse, I feel bad giving it away. The breakthrough came when I stopped asking whether I could use something again and started asking if I actually did. If I hadn't touched it in over a year, I gave myself permission to let it go, and I began to let go with love. I would hold the item, acknowledge the memory, thank it silently, and pass it along to a donation center, a neighbor, or even the trash if it had no more life left. Letting go is not losing. It is making room for what matters most today. It is honoring your space and your current self, not just who you were in the past or what you might need in some uncertain future. The more I released, the lighter I felt. My closets had room to breathe. My shelves felt purposeful, not crammed. Cleaning became easier. Choosing what to wear became faster. And perhaps most importantly, I started to value the items I chose to keep more deeply. They weren't just things. They were essentials. They were meaningful. They were enough. Letting go with love is an ongoing practice. It requires honesty, compassion, and sometimes a little courage. But it is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself, your home, and even the people who live in it with you. Habit number 4. The one-touch rule. Before I learned this habit, I had what I called later piles. A pile of mail to open later, a stack of clothes to put away later, books to return to the shelf later. Later never came. The piles grew, clutter crept in, and my stress climbed. Then I discovered the one-touch rule. It's simple, but incredibly powerful. Touch each item only once. That means when I pick something up, I do something with it immediately. I do not set it back down to deal with later. If I open the mail, I either toss it, file it, or act on it. I do not put it back in a pile. If I take off my jacket, it goes back in the closet or on the hook, not over the back of a chair. If I take a dish from the table, I rinse it and put it in the dishwasher, not in the sink to sit. This rule eliminated so much decision fatigue in my life. I no longer walk by the same pile of clutter 3 times a day, thinking, I really should take care of that. I already did. At first, this habit required awareness. I had to slow down and catch myself. I had to ask, can I complete this now? And more often than not, I could. Over time, it became natural. I touch, I decide, I act. That cycle keeps my spaces clear and my mind more settled. The one-touch rule also works beautifully with habit number 1, the 5-minute peacekeeper. If something takes less than 5 minutes and I only need to touch it once, there is simply no reason to wait. This habit is not just about organizing. It is about being decisive, mindful, and present with your space. And when practiced regularly, it becomes a quiet form of self-respect. You stop postponing the care your home deserves and the care you deserve too. Habit number 5, the 15-minute daily reset. There was a time when I would let the house fall apart, little by little during the week, and then try to fix everything all at once on the weekend. I'd spend hours on Saturday or Sunday catching up, mopping, scrubbing, sorting, folding, only to feel exhausted and frustrated by the end. And worse, it would all need to be done again soon. That cycle wore me out. The change came when I committed to a simple rule. Spend just 15 minutes each day tidying one area of the home. That's it. No marathon cleaning sessions, no overwhelming tasks, just a short, focused reset every day. Now I break my week into zones. On Monday, I tidy the kitchen. On Tuesday, I refresh the bathroom. Wednesday is for the bedroom. Thursday might be the living room, and so on. I don't clean every corner. I simply give each space a little attention. And I set a timer. 15 minutes. When the buzzer goes off, I stop. This habit brought two unexpected blessings. First, my home became more consistently clean without much effort. The tasks no longer built up into something unmanageable. And second, it changed how I felt about cleaning. It stopped being a dreaded chore and started becoming part of my rhythm, like making coffee or brushing my teeth. Sometimes I even enjoy it. I'll play a favorite song, light a candle, or just move slowly and mindfully. I see it not as a task to check off, but as an act of care for my home and for myself. When combined with the 5-minute rule and the one-touch rule, this habit becomes even more powerful. Because most of the mess is already prevented, the 15 minutes can be spent deepening the calm rather than fixing chaos. It's not about having a perfect house. It's about having a gentle, manageable way to keep your space in order. And it starts with just 15 minutes a day. Habit number 6. One in, one out. There was a time when shopping gave me a quick thrill. A new top, another mug, a cute little decoration. I would bring it home, place it somewhere, and then forget about it. Days or weeks later, I'd notice how crowded my closet had become, or how full my kitchen cabinets were. I kept adding, but rarely took anything away. That's when I discovered the one in, one out habit. It's simple. For every new item that comes into my home, one item goes out. Buy a new shirt. Let go of one I no longer wear. Add a new cookbook to the shelf. Choose one I haven't opened in years to donate. Receive a new gift. Make space by releasing something old. At first, this habit felt a little restrictive. But then, something surprising happened. I started becoming more thoughtful with what I brought home. I asked myself, do I love this enough to let go of something else? If the answer was no, I walked away. This shift saved me money. It also saved face and stress. I stopped accumulating out of habit and started choosing with intention. And here's the best part. It helped me feel more connected to what I already owned. Instead of drowning in duplicates or forgetting about the things I had buried in the back of a drawer, I had just enough, and everything I kept felt purposeful. This habit works beautifully for any part of the home. Clothing, books, tools, decorations, kitchen items, even sentimental things. And if you're not ready to let go right away, that's okay. You can use a temporary box or storage space to hold items you're unsure about and revisit it in a few months. The point isn't to deprive yourself. It's to create a home that feels balanced, intentional, and clear. One that supports your life today, not just your past or your someday. Letting something new in should never feel like a burden. And with this habit, it never will. Habit number 7. Fewer horizontal surfaces. If there's one truth I've learned about clutter, it's this. Flat surfaces invite it. Tables, counters, dressers, nightstands, even the top of the washing machine. If it's flat and open, something will land on it. And then something else. And then 5 more things by the end of the day. I used to have every surface filled, picture frames, candles, trinkets, mail, magazines, chargers, pens. It wasn't messy exactly, but it never felt calm. It always looked like something was waiting to be done or put away, so I began clearing them. Not just tidying, but intentionally removing what didn't need to be there. I asked myself, does this object need to live on the surface? If the answer was no, I found it a new home or let it go entirely. Now, my counters are mostly clear. My dresser holds only a lamp and a jewelry dish. My kitchen island is wide open, except for a small fruit bowl. And you know what? It feels like space. It feels like peace. Rooms feel bigger and calmer when surfaces are open. And cleaning becomes faster. There's less to wipe around, less to dust, and fewer decisions to make. If you're not sure where to begin, try just one surface. Clear off your nightstand or your kitchen counter. Remove everything. Then choose only one or two things that belong there. Live with that for a week. See how it feels. You might discover, as I did, that open space is not empty. It's restful. And when you have fewer horizontal surfaces, or at least fewer things on them, it's much harder for clutter to take root in your home. It's not about living in a showroom. It's about making room for breathing, resting, and being without visual noise getting in the way. Habit number 8. The collection box method. There are moments in daily life when we simply don't have the time or energy to put something exactly where it belongs. We're in the middle of something else. We're tired. We're rushing out the door. Instead of letting those items sit in random places, or worse, pile up into clutter, I created a soft and flexible solution. Collection boxes. In every main room of my house, I've placed a small, attractive container. In the living room, there's a wicker basket near the bookshelf. In the bedroom, I use a decorative box on the dresser. In the kitchen, there's a small bin tucked on the counter. Anytime I come across something that's out of place, and I don't have the time to deal with it, I drop it in the box. A letter, a toy, a pair of reading glasses, a sock, it goes there instead of being left out. Then, here's the key. I make it a habit to empty each box once a day, usually in the evening, before bed. I do a quick sweep, open the boxes, return each item to its proper home, and enjoy the clear space once again. This habit has given me so much grace. It recognizes that life isn't always neat, that sometimes we just need a holding place until we have a moment to catch up. The boxes act like gentle helpers, quietly keeping things from turning into chaos. They also help me see patterns. If the same item keeps landing in the box, I ask myself, does this thing have a home? Is its current home too far away or hard to access? If so, I make an adjustment. This method is also wonderful for other people in the household. It's an easy system to follow. Don't know where something goes? Put it in the box. Someone else can sort it later. The collection box method has made my home feel consistently more organized, even on the busiest days. It's a buffer, a backup, a breath of kindness for the everyday messes we all face. And with just 5 minutes of follow-through, everything is back in place by nightfall. Habit number 9. The 30-second reset. There's a small habit I started almost without thinking, and over time, it has become one of the most powerful tools I use to keep my home calm and welcoming. I call it the 30-second reset. Before I leave the house, whether I'm going to the grocery store, heading out for a walk, or even just stepping outside to water the garden, I take 30 seconds to tidy the space I'm in. That's it, just half a minute. But the results are incredible. I might fluff the couch cushions, fold the blanket I was using, put the TV remote back in its tray, or take a cup to the kitchen sink. Maybe I gather a few papers off the counter or toss a sock into the laundry basket. Whatever I can do quickly, I do. Why does it matter? Because when I come back home, whether it's after 20 minutes or a full day, I'm not greeted by chaos. I walk into calm, and that small difference shifts everything. It's a form of kindness to your future self. You're giving the version of you who returns home a smoother re-entry into her space. Instead of arriving and instantly feeling like something needs to be fixed, cleaned, or tackled, you arrive into peace. I've extended this practice to other moments too. 30 seconds before going to bed, I tidy the bedroom. 30 seconds after a meal, I reset the kitchen. 30 seconds before I start work, I clear my desk. It's not about perfection, it's about rhythm. These little resets act like punctuation marks in the day. They bring closure to the task just finished and prepare the space for what comes next. And the truth is, 30 seconds often turns into more. Once I start, I usually feel motivated to tidy just a bit more. But even if I don't, even if I only do one or two things, it still counts. It still lightens the load. If you try this habit, I suggest starting with just one time of day, maybe before leaving the house. Commit to one small reset. You might be surprised at how much can shift in your home and in your spirit in just 30 seconds. Habit number 10, the I don't know box. One of the trickiest parts of decluttering is dealing with the I don't know items. You know the ones I mean. That gift from someone you love but don't really use. The kitchen tool you're not sure works anymore. The souvenir from a trip that makes you smile but has no real place. These items sit in limbo, not quite things we want to keep, not quite ready to be let go. And when left scattered throughout the home, they slowly accumulate into quiet clutter. That's why I created the I don't know box. It's a simple container, nothing fancy, where I place all the items I'm unsure about. I don't make any decisions in the moment. I just set them aside in one contained space and give myself time. But here's the key. The box is not endless. It has a limit. And so does the time I give myself to decide. On the lid, I place a sticky note with a date. Usually 3 or 6 months in the future. When that day comes, I go through the box. Anything I haven't thought about, missed, or needed in that time, goes. Sometimes I do pull something out during those months. That confirms its usefulness. But more often, I realize I had forgotten about it entirely. And with that clarity, letting go becomes easier. I am no longer making the decision from a place of guilt or pressure. I'm making it from experience. This habit has removed the emotional heaviness from decluttering. It's no longer about being ruthless. It's about being honest with time as your guide. It also helps me recognize patterns. If I notice certain items keep ending up in the I don't know box, I take that as a sign that maybe I'm bringing in things that don't truly serve me. That insight helps me shop more mindfully and live more intentionally. So if you're ever stuck trying to decide whether to keep something or toss it, don't force it. Place it in your I don't know box. Give it time. Let the decision come naturally. And trust that clarity will follow. Habit number 11, the 4-quadrant matrix. One of the most helpful tools I've discovered for organizing any space is something I call the 4-quadrant matrix. It sounds fancy, but it's actually very simple. It helps you make smart, thoughtful decisions about what to keep, what to store, and what to release. Here's how it works. When I go through a drawer, a closet, or even a whole room, I sort items into 4 clear categories. Category 1. I use it often, and I value it highly. These are your everyday essentials. In the kitchen, it might be your favorite pan. In the closet, your most comfortable shoes. These things deserve the most accessible spots in your home. Category 2. I don't use it often, but I still value it. Think of seasonal decorations, important documents, or meaningful keepsakes. These don't need to be front and center, but they should be safely stored and easy to find when you need them. Category 3. I use it often, but I don't value it much. These are the things you might use out of habit, but don't really enjoy or care about. A chipped mug, a sweater that fits, but doesn't feel great. These are items to keep an eye on. You might find better replacements in the future. Category 4. I don't use it, and I don't value it. This is the clutter. Old chargers, unused knickknacks, expired cosmetics. These are the items that take up space without giving anything back. And these are the first things to let go of. Using this matrix helps you organize from a place of clarity and confidence. Instead of reacting emotionally, you're thinking practically, do I use this? Do I value it? Where does it belong? Once everything is sorted, putting things back becomes easy. The most used and most loved items go in prime spots. Seasonal or special use items go in bins or labeled boxes. Category 3 items go into more neutral spaces, and Category 4, out the door. This habit takes the mystery out of organizing. It gives structure to your choices. And over time, you'll notice that your home fills only with the things that serve you or make you smile. And that truly is what a peaceful home is made of. Habit number 12, the weekly reset day. If I had to choose one habit that holds everything else together, it would be this, the weekly reset day. Once a week, usually Sunday afternoon, I walk through my entire home with one goal: return everything to its rightful place. Not deep cleaning, not scrubbing grout, or washing windows, just a full reset. I start with the collection boxes I keep in each room. I empty them completely and return every item to where it belongs. I check under couches and beds for anything that's wandered off. I neat up drawers, stack books back on shelves, and refold laundry that got tossed in a hurry. It usually takes me about 2 hours, but because I've been following all the other habits during the week, it doesn't feel like a big chore. It feels like tying a bow around the week that just ended and preparing a soft landing for the week ahead. This habit helps me start every Monday fresh. I wake up knowing my space is in order, which makes it easier to focus, relax, and enjoy the moments that matter. To make it enjoyable, I turn it into a ritual. I put on music I love. Sometimes I brew a cup of tea, or make a special drink. I might light a candle, or even invite a family member to help. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like care. The weekly reset prevents the gradual buildup of mess. It keeps small problems from becoming big ones. And it ensures that my home always returns to a place of peace, even when life gets messy. You don't need to follow a strict checklist. Just move through your space with intention. Put things back. Reground your environment. Honor the home that holds you. And remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's presence. You don't have to do all 12. In fact, I gently suggest you choose just one. Pick the one that felt the easiest, or the one that made you take a deep breath and say, yes, I need that. Try it for 2 weeks. See how it feels. Then, if you're ready, add another. Let these habits grow with you, not pressure you. Remember, a peaceful home is not about keeping everything spotless. It's about creating an environment that supports you, holds you, and honors the life you're living right now. And above all, know this: you are not behind. You are not failing. You are simply in a new chapter. And it's never too late to bring more calm, more ease, and more joy into your space. If this video felt helpful to you, I'd be honored if you do 3 small things. Number 1, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next video. Number 2, leave a comment and tell me, what habit will you start with? I read everyone. And number 3, share this video with a friend or loved one who could use a little more peace in their home too. Thank you for spending this time with me. It means more than you know. Until next time, take gentle care of your home and of your beautiful self.